The more tightly you clutch at life, the more it slips between your fingers. That is not a threat. It is an observation, like watching sand cascade through a fist. The world you're fighting to control is not a machine to be mastered, but a song to be heard, a river to be moved by, a wind that laughs at nets. You may try to anchor every wave in the sea of experience, but the sea is not an object. It's an event, a happening, a dance. And the dancer is not separate from the dance. You are not standing outside of life, managing it like a foreman on a construction site. You are the very movement you're trying to steer. When you grasp, you become rigid. When you become rigid, you are out of rhythm. When you are out of rhythm, life feels like chaos. But the chaos is not in life. It is in the insistence that life be other than it is. Letting go is not laziness, nor is it resignation. To let go is to trust that the tree knows how to grow without your lectures, that your heart knows how to beat without your committees, that the sun rises without your alarms. To let go is to discover that the root of all anxiety is the attempted arrest of that which was born to move. The more you let go, the more life reveals itself, not because life was hiding secrets maliciously, but because your grip blocked the view. When you unclench, you see. And when you see, you belong again to the great order that is not imposed but unfolds. I will not ask if you have struggled. I know you have. You tried to hold steady the face you show the world. You tried to shepherd your thoughts like sheep, every stray impulse corralled into the pen of a plan, and each plan, like a paper lantern, glowed briefly, then drifted away. You took this as personal failure. But, dear listener, the lantern was meant to drift. The world is a playground and a pilgrimage, a marketplace and a monastery, a place where masks are worn to deceive, but to reveal the faces beneath. The more you loosen your hold on the mask, the more the face beneath becomes luminous. This is not self-improvement. This is self-relaxation. The knot unties itself when you stop pulling the ends apart. To let go is to remember how a melody works. It must have pauses, spaces, silences. Without them, there is no music, only noise. You do not cut the silence out of the song. You listen through it. In the same way, you do not carve the unknown out of your life and label the remainder safe. You include the unknown and discover that it sings harmony with what you already are. You were told that safety comes from control, but the safety you seek is downstream of trust. You discover this in small ways, when you float and the water holds you, when you laugh and time ceases to matter, when you love and each moment is allowed to come as it is. Letting go is not a technique. It is the atmosphere of a free mind. The more you open the window, the less you need air conditioning for the soul. You see, the mind is a splendid trickster and a faithful servant. Give it the job of squeezing life into a blueprint, and it will make you a prison. Give it the invitation to wonder, and it will become a garden gate. The difference is the clutch. The more you let go, the more the gate swings. What walks through is not merely better moods or improved outcomes, but the very texture of reality, vivid, immediate, and intimate. You are not standing at a distance. You are in it, as it now. Let us look closely, then, at this delicate art. Imagine a cat poised on a fence at dusk. It does not consult a manual on how to leap. It does not negotiate terms with gravity. It relaxes into the leap and becomes the arc itself. Likewise, the tree does not reason its way into blossom. It simply gives way to the season that wants to move through it. We, however, learn to postpone our blossoming until conditions improve, until perfection arrives, until we have earned the right to be alive. This is the mischief of the ego, the conviction that life is a possession to be defended rather than a participation to be enjoyed. The paradox is delicious. When you grasp at control, you feel controlled. When you release control, you discover a deeper order. Letting go is not the absence of intention. It is the absence of tension around intention. Consider the archer. If the archer fixes upon the bullseye with such fever that he forgets to breathe, the arrow wobbles. But if he breathes, he aligns not just his eye and hand, but the entire field, the bow, the wind, the distance, the heartbeat. The target is not conquered, it's courted. This is the soft power of allowing. What you allow aligns. You may fear that loosening your grip means losing your identity, your ambition, your standards. But what is this identity you fear to lose? a compilation of memories recited by a narrator who wasn't present when many of them occurred. The narrator insists on continuity. I, it says, am the same today as yesterday. Yet, look at your body. Every cell is a conversation of change. Look at your feelings. They arrive like weather systems, raining and clearing without asking permission. Look at your thoughts. They pass through like birds migrating across an autumn sky. Where is the fixed point? The moment you try to nail yourself to the mast of certainty, you become a scarecrow guarding a field that no longer needs guarding. If you let go, what remains is not nothing but everything, the spaciousness in which all these changes appear. We think enlightenment, awakening, is an achievement, like a medal pinned to the chest. In truth, it is simpler and far less marketable. It is the recognition that the one who seeks is the one sought, that the wave seeking the sea is already wet. You do not have to get there because there is precisely where you are. But the mind, hooked on destinations, demands a map with dotted lines and a treasure marked X. I have no X to give you. I have a mirror. Look into it and notice that the seer and the seen are not two. The mirror does not cling to the face it reflects. It shines and in shining reveals. Letting go is the mirror shining without claim. Life is a dance of opposites. Inhale and exhale, rise and fall, gain and loss. When you insist on perpetual inhale, you suffocate. When you insist on perpetual gain, you become poor in the only currency that matters: presence. The universe breathes you as much as you breathe it. To let go is to synchronize with that breath. Try it now. Soften the belly, feel the air move in of its own accord. You are not doing the breath, you are being breathed. That is the secret hiding in plain sight. You do not manage the sunrise, you witness it. You do not command the heart, you listen to it. You do not manufacture meaning, you notice that meaning blossoms where attention rests. But attention must be friendly, or it shrivels what it touches. A stern attention, a policeman's attention, will arrest your experience, handcuff it to categories, and call that understanding. A kind attention, a lover's attention, will coax the shy creature of the moment out of the bushes and discover that it purrs when not pursued. Letting go changes the quality of attention from interrogation to invitation. And in that invitation, life reveals its textures, the way a silence between friends can be warmer than words, the way a street lamp in rain can seem to hum, the way an ordinary afternoon acquires a taste of eternity when no one is demanding it be different. We chase certainty the way a dog chases its tail, not because we need it, but because the chase distracts us from the vertigo of freedom. Freedom is not the ability to choose endlessly. It is the recognition that choosing is another wave in the sea. If you stop harassing yourself for the perfect choice, you start hearing the music that was drowning under the chatter. You begin to trust your feet. You discover that life has already chosen you to be the note you are, and the orchestra of the world was waiting for that note to be played without apology. Now, how does this insight meet your daily life, where clocks tick, bills come due, and people are difficult? The answer is not to retreat into an ivory tower of abstraction, but to let the tower dissolve into the street. Begin where you are. The next time anxiety grips you like a vice, do not fight the vice. Loosen your own grip. Say inwardly, let this too be part of the dance. Feel the weight in the chest, the flutter in the gut, the thinness of breath. Allow them. In allowing, you are no longer the captive but the host. The sensations once resisted soften in the presence of welcome. The room of your awareness is vast. A few noisy guests cannot overrun it when the windows are open. In relationships, letting go means releasing the script you've written for the other person. You have a way you want them to speak, to love, to apologize, to change. Notice how much of your frustration is the collision between the script and the improvisation that is their life. Try this. In your next conversation, listen as if you are hearing a new language. Instead of composing your rebuttal, become curious about the silent spaces between their words. There, in the space, trust grows. This is not passivity. It is intelligence. You will know when to speak truth because the body is at ease even when the words are strong. You are not pushing a river. You are placing a hand on the rudder of a current already moving in the right direction. Work is often the arena where control parades in its stiffest uniform. Targets, metrics, outcomes, these have their place. But if you lash your sense of worth to them, the sea will claim it. Bring play into your craft. Play is not trivial. It is the essence of creativity. When kicked up a mesha. Children play. They are not trying to win life. They are living it. In your work, play with possibilities. Take a step, listen, adjust. This is how jazz is made. The most exquisite solos arise from musicians who trust the band, trust the key, and trust the silence they're about to break. Your career is not a ladder to a secure heaven. It is a river you learn to read. Rocks and rapids are not enemies. They are the features that make the water sing. Letting go also means softening the future's grip on your present. Planning is an art, but obsession with outcomes is a theft. If you postpone your joy until the plan pays off, you teach your nervous system to live on credit. Collect your joy now, in the warmth of a cup in your hands, in the precise geometry of light on the table, in the brief kindness exchanged with a stranger. This is not sentimentalism, it is accurate accounting. Reality only ever arrives as now. When you meet it fully, your plans improve because they're informed by the living data of this moment rather than the fear of the next. What of failure? Letting go turns failure into fertilizer. When the project collapses, when the relationship ends, when you say the wrong thing, compassion is the letting go of the demand that you have already learned what can only be learned by doing. You are not a machine accumulating upgrades. You are a garden cycling through seasons. The pruning is not the end of the tree. It is the reason it blooms. There is a simple practice. Choose one thing each day to do more slowly than is considered efficient. Peel an orange as if time were edible. Walk across a room as if returning from a long voyage. Write a message with the understanding that the person reading it is as mysterious and unrepeatable as a snowflake. Slowness is not delay. It is depth. In slowing, you let go of the nervous tick that confuses motion with meaning. You turn to it. The spotlight of attention from the idea of life to life itself, from the map in your head to the landscape under your feet. If you worry that letting go will reduce your ambition, try letting go of worry about your ambition. Notice what remains, a clear, steady impulse to create, to serve, to explore. The neurotic buzz that once powered you was expensive fuel, loud, smoky, and polluting. There is a quieter power available when you align with what is truly yours to do. You will still feel the tug to prove yourself, to outshine ghosts. Smile at the ghosts. They fade when you bow to them and return to your work with love. And what of the self, the cherished, defended self? The self is a role in a theater of roles. It is not a problem to be eliminated, but a costume to be worn lightly. When you mistake the costume for your skin, it chafes. When you remember it is a costume, you choose with grace which mask to wear for which dance. The letting go here is a gentle loosening of identification, a willingness to change masks without apology when the scene changes. This fluidity is not deception. It is honesty about the changing nature of experience. There comes a point in this reflection when you notice the observer, the one who listens to these words, who watches the breath, who senses the body, who is listening. If you search for this listener as a thing, you will not find it. What you find is listening itself, awareness itself, open, bright, without edges. Thoughts appear in it and dissolve. Feelings surge and soften. Even the sense of I arises and sets like a moon across a quiet lake. You are not trapped inside the skull, peering out through windows. You are the field in which the skull and stars appear. To let go is to release the insistence that you are only the part and to relax as the whole, without needing to define what the whole is. From this spaciousness, compassion flows naturally. You see others as waves of the same sea, masks in the same play. Their confusions mirror your own, their joys touch your own. You do not need to fix them to love them. You need only to recognize them. And this recognition has a practical scent. It smells like patience during an argument, like generosity when judging, like humor in the face of your own foibles. True letting go is a laughter that rings even in sorrow, not because sorrow is denied, but because it is known as a movement within a wider music. Spiritual freedom is not floating above life like a cloud immune to rain. It is the discovery that you are also the rain and the cloud, and the thirsty earth. Freedom is intimacy with what is. It is the end of the war with the present. When the war ends, energy returns to its rightful work, loving, creating, perceiving, resting. The mind remains a brilliant instrument, the body a trustworthy animal, the world a shimmering mystery. You still pay your bills, mow your grass, and mend your fences. But you do these things as a dancer, not as a drudge, as a participant in a festival that has no backstage. Letting go of the ego is not a surgical operation. It is the ongoing recognition that the ego is a useful story, not the author of the book. The author cannot be found because the author is the writing itself, the unfolding of each line. When you stop forcing the plot, a subtler narrative emerges, less about acquisition and defense, more about wonder and communion. You find yourself speaking more truthfully, not because you read a rule book that said be authentic, but because pretending is exhausting, and you have lost interest in exhaustion. Now let us end not with an answer, but with a practice of looking. Sit, if you can, where your body is comfortable and your spine is at ease. Close your eyes or leave them soft. Let sounds arrive without labeling them. Let sensations come to visit without asking for identification. Notice the breath moving, gentle, tidal. Allow thoughts to pass like boats on the river. Who may read their names as they drift by, but you need not hitch a ride. Who is watching? Do not answer with words, look. The watcher is clear space. In this clear space, life is already revealing itself. Its colors true, its textures honest, its sorrows tender, its joys immediate. If tension arises, let it be. If peace arises, let it be. If boredom arises, let it be. This letting be is not passivity. It is the secret handshake with reality. From here, when action is needed, it glides out of you like a bird taking off from a branch. When rest is needed, it settles like snow upon a field. When speech is needed, it ripens on the tongue. The more you let go, the more this intelligence, older than you, younger than the morning, moves through you with ease. Carry this with you as you rise. Open a door as if opening the day. Greet a passerby as if greeting a long-lost friend. Taste your food as if tasting sunlight condensed into flavor. When worry returns as it does, place a hand on the worry and say, "You may ride with me, but you do not steer." When joy returns as it does, bow to it and let it pass through without clinging. Let each scene play, and play your part with the lightness of someone who knows the stage is sacred precisely because it is not permanent. And now, a final silence together. Not the silence of absence, but the silence of fullness, like the hush before the orchestra begins, like the quiet of a forest that hears itself growing. In this silence, feel the simple fact of being. No need to decorate it, no need to explain it. This is the revelation. This is the homecoming. The more you let go, the more life, which has always loved you, bears its bright face and smiles.